Hello, I'm Colleen Gallagher, CEO at OnWrd UpWrd, and you're listening to the Association Insights podcast, where each week we interview association leaders from across the country to hear how they're trying new things, taking big risks, and delivering value for their members. We'll explore the realities of what it means to work in and with associations and bring you the insights and inspiration you need to advance your career and make big changes at your association. Let's get started.
When we talk about relationships and think about them as no longer a nice to have, they're really the strategy. So, I would say if there's one thing that hasn't changed, even as platforms, tools, and expectations evolve, it's this. Relationships are still the ultimate foundation for effective PR. I've been talking about this for a year now, but I still think we've really come full circle. There was a period where it felt like you had the right email address, a great pitch, you could land coverage without much of a relationship at all and pretty easily. That window has closed. Today, journalists don't just want information, they want trusted sources, context, and expertise they can rely on quickly. And that's where associations have such a unique advantage if they lean into it. Associations don't just represent organizations. You represent entire industries, professions, and real people navigating real challenges. When associations tell those stories well and consistently, you become indispensable. Wow, one of the biggest shifts we've really seen in recent years is that importance of acting fast, but doing so really thoughtfully. A really good example of what this looks like in practice was some work we did with the Transportation Intermediaries Association just over the holiday break. Fraud is not just a fringe issue for TIA members. It is the absolute defining challenge that they're facing right now. And in this case, there was a member that was willing to share his experience after losing $400,000 worth of lobster in a theft just weeks before Christmas. It wasn't unusual or surprising, but it was human, it was real, and it was representative of a much larger problem that impacts the whole supply chain, but also a whole lot of small and mid-sized businesses across our country. We worked closely with that member to tell his story clearly and responsibly, what happened, how quickly it unfolded, and the real consequences for his business. And at the same time, we positioned TIA's CEO to provide the broader context. So the state of cargo fraud, how frequently these incidents are occurring, the how much it's occurring, just the impact. We're talking billions of dollars a year, and what the industry and government leaders need to do next to put a stop to this. Because where the theft happened, that's what we looked at, and we looked at where the goods were headed. So the theft happened in Massachusetts. We targeted Boston and Providence. We hit all the local ABC, NBC, CBS affiliates there and saw numerous, almost all of them covering it. The Boston Globe. And then where were the goods headed? They were headed to Costco's in Chicago and Minneapolis. So ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox affiliates there. We got on all of them. We got in the Chicago Sun-Times. And that's where this local to national approach really takes off, because the story gained huge national traction out of that. We got more pitches out, we got more requests, and we saw coverage and requests from outlets like AP, CNN.com, even People Magazine, NBC News, The Hill, you name it. What made this work, it wasn't novelty and that the story was so interesting. That helped, of course. A good story always helps, but those lists were already built. It took us no time to get those pitches out because we knew who the right producers were at those outlets. It was preparation, it was trust, it was timing. The relationships were already there. The media lists were already built. And the story was framed not as an isolated incident, but as a clear example of a widespread issue demanding attention. By moving quickly, grounding the story in the member's experience, and connecting it to broader industry data and trends, we were able to help position TIA as a credible and timely voice, and one that reporters could trust. This is where associations can win in 2026, not by waiting for the perfect campaign, but by recognizing the moment, shaping the narrative, and showing up with clarity. Another thing that's become increasingly clear is that Polished doesn't mean persuasive anymore. Authenticity isn't anything new, but it is important. Audiences, whether they're members, reporters, policymakers, or the public, they're drawn to stories that feel human, grounded, and real. And that doesn't mean unstrategic. It means intentional authenticity. The associations breaking through right now are elevating member voices, sharing real world impact, being really clear about challenges, not just wins, and communicating in ways that sound like people, not press releases written for no one in particular. And this applies just as much to media relations as it does to your own channels. Of course, we can't talk about PR without hitting on PR in the age of AI and why this moment matters so much. So let's talk about AI, because this is where PR's role is quietly expanding. Looking back at that Muckrack report again, so 77% of PR professionals are already using Gen AI tools like ChatGPT, not surprising. 59% say AI and automation will grow in importance over the next 5 years, ranking higher than traditional media relations or strategic planning. But here's the important distinction for me. AI doesn't replace PR. It amplifies the importance of doing PR well. As large language models increasingly rely on authoritative index content, earned media, high-quality press releases, and credible thought leadership are shaping how associations and entire industries are represented in AI-driven search and discover. This is where concepts like time to index are going to start to matter. That's going to become a KPI for your PR efforts when there are affordable tools for everyone to measure that. And when I say time to index, I'm talking about how quickly something you've put out shows up in someone's generative AI search. And, whether it's a ChatGPT question they ask and your release is pulled as a source, that's going to matter. So how quickly is your perspective surfaced and showing up in those Gen AI searches? How accurately is your organization represented? That'll be important. Are your stories being pulled from credible, authoritative sources or not at all? PR, it's not just about coverage anymore. It's really about visibility, accuracy, and influence in an AI-powered ecosystem. So that said, what should association leaders take away as we head into 2026? Well, here are a few grounded realities. I will beat this drum until I die, but PR is not simply a support function, it's a strategic one. Speed matters, but credibility matters more. Relationships outperform reach. Storytelling beats statements. And visibility now includes AI, not just humans, whether we like it or not. And perhaps most importantly, this isn't the year to do everything. It's the year to do the right things better. So think clear priorities, clear messaging, and clear ownership. So over the next few months here on Association Insights, one of the things I'm really excited about is you'll be hearing from all of our Association Insights Com Impact Award winners. They're going to break down what they did, why it worked, and what other associations can learn from their campaigns. These are real examples. They're tested in the field, and they show how associations are navigating media messaging and storytelling right now. As we start 2026, my encouragement is this. You've got to be intentional about your voice, be disciplined about your stories, and just don't underestimate the power of showing up consistently, credibly, and at the right moment. Thank you so much for listening, and thanks for continuing to do the work that helps keep industries informed, connected, and moving forward. Happy New Year, and I'll see you again soon on another episode of Association Insights.
That's a wrap for today's episode. The Association Insights podcast, previously known as the Association 100 podcast, is a production of OnWrd UpWrd Marketing and Communications, where our mission is to make associations and nonprofits the go-to source in their industries through earned media and thought leadership. This podcast is an extension of our newsletter, a bi-monthly collection of best practices, top trends, helpful ideas, and smart strategies delivered straight to your inbox. Have you undertaken a big change at your association? Or do you have some words of wisdom from the trenches of association life? We want to hear from you, and so do our listeners. drop us a note at info@onwardupwrd.com. That's info@onwrdupwrd.com. Be sure to subscribe, give us a 5-star review, and share with your friends and colleagues. We're available anywhere podcasts are found. Come back next week for more association insights and inspiration. Thanks for tuning in.